The awkward moment when I go live. I'm like, here I am. It's me again, Margaret. Ray Charles. Not Ray Charles, Ray Stevens. Anyway, don't worry, folks. I'm a professional. Thanks, guys, for watching. I am Doctor McFarland. Tonight is Tuesday, or today, all day was Tuesday. And therefore, we had Taco Tuesday. Though technically for dinner, we had Asian food. We had like a stir fry kind of thing. So, changing it up every little bit. And I do want to talk about some Eastman news. This is not a new guitar. This is one I've had for a few years. I actually got it for my 40th birthday, and I'm 42, almost 43. So I'll have this guitar for almost, it'll be 3 years this coming November. So I got it back in 2020. And yeah, it's a beautiful guitar. I love it. There's all kinds of options I could have chose as far as the finish and the overall color. But I went with red because my mom said, hey, you know, everyone needs a red guitar, I guess. And it kind of reminded me of the Michael J. Fox Back to the Future kind of thing. So I opted for red, and I do love it. It's very nice. Very pretty. I'm currently playing through my Axe effects. And let me go turn off some crazy stuff here. And I will store that. All right, so there was some news in the last week and a half or so. I didn't get to go live last week because we had Vacation Bible School at church, and it was just too crazy of a week, and just wasn't able to go live. So that's perfectly fine. I needed a week off anyway, and the world rejoiced, I'm sure. So last week it was announced, or maybe the week before, it was announced that the new FM3 Mark II Turbo is out, and I do like the idea of having a very, very small fractal, even though it's only 3 foot switches. I mean, technically the Headrush MX5 is only 3 foot switches, and I can do quite a lot with this thing, depending on these circumstances. I did use this all last week for VBS. Basically, just used one rig, and with the new scenes option, I assigned. It's kind of a fractal AX8 thing where you have like an XY state. So I basically made it to where this was 2 different scenes on one switch. And one scene was my clean amp, and then the next scene was my dirty amp. And I chose to have certain effects on or off, depending on which amp I had chosen. Wow, that came out of nowhere. Sorry. I was eating some chocolate-covered peanuts, so there you go. So yeah, XY state, 2 different amps, and then I would call up a... turn the delay on and off, have the tap tempo for that delay. And then on the expression pedal, since it has a toe option, I was able to go into hardware assign and have toe A turn on a boost. And when I went over to the heel, that gave me a volume boost for solos and stuff. And then if I went to toe B, that turned on a chorus. Then in turn I could use the heel to blend in some chorus effect or any other thing I wanted. You can also do this with tremolo or all kinds of other effects. That's a good use case for anybody that's playing just rhythm stuff, or maybe you're playing some lead stuff, but you don't need tons of different options. The MX5 with only 3 switches is more than enough, I think, for the majority of people out there. So that's kind of got me thinking. I did have the FM9 at first, and then I traded up to the Axe-FX 3, and it's currently in the rack. But I kind of need this rack space here for a little slide out tray that I got from Sweetwater last year. And I want to put my computer and hard drives and little USB dongles and stuff all in that tray. So it's just kind of stored in my rack, and it's also a little bit closer to everything instead of being over here on the floor where it's currently at. It's not sitting on the floor, but it's sitting on a shelf that's in turn on the floor. I'm trying to get my phone to work. I have Epoch Cam on my phone, which is supposed to turn it into a webcam so I can get like a different angle. But it's just not wanting to connect. So there you go. I'm not sure why. Maybe I can turn off the Wi-Fi and then turn it back on. Because if I had the phone connected to the app, then I can have a secondary view, like cutting across on the guitar or something, something crazy. I did get another, I got an arm for like a little boom arm kind of thing that you can attach to a desk. I got that for a secondary camera, and also has a ring light that I can put the camera lens through the light, so everything is nice and illuminated, and then the camera is shining down or pointing down at whatever. So I could be doing head rush videos with it. I could be doing pedal demos, or just anything that I need a secondary camera for, and also has a light kind of built in. So that'll be neat. I'll incorporate that into a setup here very soon. And I have rearranged the studio. If you didn't see the live stream from about 2-ish weeks ago, I pretty much stayed up all night, rearranged the whole studio. And yeah. So we're back with the desk in front of the window. I did go to Walmart and buy a curtain rod, one of those pressure curtain rods, so I can put some curtains up in the window, because with that sun shining through, it makes it really hot up here. And I feel like the blackout curtains help it to not be so hot. And running the air with my mini split, because if I turned it off, I would just start sweating immediately up here, because it's pretty hot here in the Nashville summer. Kind of averaging 90 to 95 every day here in the Nashville area. So if you're dealing with high extreme heat temperatures, then be careful out there. Make sure you stay hydrated and all that stuff. So yeah, so I like the Fractal FM3 Mark II Turbo idea. I did sign up for the wait list, and if I can sell off the Axe-FX 3 non-turbo edition, it's actually the Mark I version. But I still think I could probably get around $1,900 for it, and then turn around and downgrade to the Fractal FM3. That'll just be another option I can use here in the studio. I can call up some presets with some scenes and some stomps and all that, and be like, here's your sounds for the record, or whatever. So it's just a good another option. And plus it's small enough I can throw it in a backpack or a suitcase, or just travel around with it. I'm not saying I can't do that with a head rush. I totally can. But I have caught the fractal bug, and I do believe that the tones the tonal options are definitely worth looking into if you're wanting to get a Mahler that has literally every option under the sun as far as amps, dirt pedals, effects, delays and reverbs and all kinds of cool stuff. So Aaron Short is in the house, and I need to work on my my Ecamm stuff. I need to figure out like a better intro and stuff like that. So I don't know why I'm talking about that, but it's just what I feel like I need to do eventually when I get time. So I have had a Epiphone Sheraton for about 23 years, and that's what I use that to play jazz in the jazz band a long time ago at Sneed State Community College in Boaz, Alabama. Yeah, so Eastman guitars. What's going on with Eastman here? The big thing is they started out making violins back in the 80s, or more of the classical style instruments, and then eventually they started adding more rock band type instruments like electric guitars, mainly electric guitars. They got arch tops, they got solid bodies, semi hollows, stuff like that, and some people really claim that Eastman is a valid option if you're not wanting to get a Gibson or a any other kind of humbucker style 335 knockoff kind of thing, like the Heritage, or maybe a Collins or Collings. I think it's Collings. Aaron is saying something about the Boss synth that was leaked. GX100. Yeah. So Andrew Collins is in the house. He's the resident Helix connoisseur. Greg Barth is also in the house. Howdy, Greg. Hope you're doing well. GX100. Let's go check that out. I'm not sure what that is. I did see that Boss released a ME90, which has been all over the YouTubes. And it's kind of a neat idea. Some people were showing that, the tones were just okay. They weren't amazing or anything. Let me go to Sweetwater here. Sweetwater. Let me find the page and then I'll pull it up for you. So GX100. Let's see what that is. Ooh. So it's not the GT1000. It's a GX100. Guitar bass multi-effects pedal with amps, effects modeling, color touchscreen, expression pedal, and USB recording interface. That's kind of neat. A touchscreen, a color touchscreen. Yeah. So I'm kind of, it's interesting looking at different switch setups. Let me move this over to the to this view here. And I don't know why this is split like this. This is really annoying. Let's take that down. Let's add. How do I get to not be a split screen? Show current application. Yep. Entire screen. All right. I'm just going to move it over. All right, so Greg Barr says he had the GX100 for about 2 weeks and didn't care for the incremental controls, made it too hard to fine tune. So kind of looking at, I kind of think of this as just looking at the purely for the foot switches. We kind of have a Kemper-ish kind of deal going on to where we have bank up and down. We have a C2 or a control 2 and also a tuner. A C1 can also be another control foot switch. And then we got 4 switches for different presets, I assume. So maybe C1 makes you go from presets to maybe stomps, possibly. Which that wouldn't be too bad. Let me scroll down here. Made for the stage. Vast intuitive tonal control. 15 simultaneous effect blocks for amps, cabs, and effects. Offers a ton of potential for crafting your guitar tones. It also looks like it's not as wide or not as tall or deep, whatever you want to call it. Width is this way, but depth is maybe this way. Because the guy's foot is clearly hanging over. So it looks pretty small. Aired amps with tube-like response. But of course, ample routing and control options. Guitar or bass rig. See, I think this would be great for like bass players or also rhythm guitar players that just don't need tons of switching options. Simply use a single cable to input to your amp. 4-cable method. Yeah. 8-foot switches make it easy to navigate your settings right from the board. Plus an expression pedal for toe switch offers the familiar feel of your favorite wah pedal. Nice. Kind of see. I have to either look through the manual or just watch a video to see the workflow of the 4 main preset switches and then using the 2 control switches right here. Because maybe C2 is your tap tempo, and then you hold down the same switch to get to your tuner, which that would make sense. Looks like there's different views, so you can see your blocks or your signal routing. Different ways there. Yeah, that's cool. And for $5.99, I'd rather get that versus the new ME90. That just sounds like a better option. Though the ME90 is more of an analog style feel. Page left and right. Effects, control, expression, right menu, in and out settings. See what the back looks like. So we don't have any XLR outs. We have a 1/4-inch input, 1/4-inch outputs, and a phones, which is great for silent practicing. It does have MIDI, so you can probably send CC and PC messages to an external amp, maybe a EVH 5150 amp or anything like that. It does have USB, so you could probably use it as an interface, which is very popular these days. And you have the good old wall wart DC in. Another thing I like about the Fractal FM3 is it does have the very nice and sturdy EIC cable connection. The headrest stuff, like the gig board and the MX5, they all have the external wall wart kind of setups, and which is fine, but you have to really be careful on where you step and make sure that connection doesn't get fidgeted with. Otherwise, it's going to become weak and just not do all that great. Yeah, you can change the switches whatever you want. It's not that hard to operate. Yes, the ME says like crazy, and you can only load 3 IRs. Yeah, so for the price, for for the price of the ME90, which is about $350-ish, basically paying double the amount, but you get a really nice and small and compact digital option, and it has a touchscreen, which is neat. Yeah, I really have to just watch some videos about it to see if it's a workflow that I would enjoy. But they are in stock, and you get 24-month financing, so $25 a month for $5.99. Yeah, made for the stage. Yeah, there's plenty of videos here to go through and watch, so I'll be sure to do that a little bit later. But it looks like a good option. Honestly, I'm going to quit going back to Fractal here for a second, but the Fractal, it does sound really good, but the user interface can be a little bit better. I mean, everyone says the same thing. I mean, the Fractal sounds amazing, but the user interface is not that great. And yes, while I'm sitting here at the desk, I can just have XFX Edit on the screen, but then I have to use my mouse and all that stuff. The thing with HeadRush and possibly this GX100 is you just reach over and just touch the screen. It's just all right there. So way more intuitive. And I would imagine that if you dug in just for a good night or two, maybe a few hours, really learned the unit, dialed in your core presets that you need for the bulk of situations that you would be in. For most rhythm players anyway, you need a good clean sound, maybe kick in a tube screamer for some crunch type stuff, and throw in some little delay maybe. If you're a church player on the worship team, maybe you want to have some ambient type stuff. And it'd be interesting to know, Andrew, you might know this. If you switch presets, does all the reverb tails keep going? HeadRush can do that. Fractal only does that between scenes. You can technically do it between presets, but there are some gaps when you do that. So, access all parameters just by touching the screen. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. All right, let me go to some Eastman stuff here. EastmanGuitars.com. So I have coming this week 2 Eastman models. And let me find where they're at here. We're going to go to electric guitar. We're going to go to, let's do the arch top first. So I end up getting, let's see, where is it down here? It's on the very bottom. So this is this right here. This is an AR372CE. So it's a 3-piece maple neck material, ebony fingerboard, 12-inch radius, bone nut, 20 medium jumbo frets. So this is essentially a jazz machine. And I've never owned a big body like jazz guitar, but I've always been interested in something like that. So I ended up ordering this, which is going to be fun. And I got a really good deal on it. I didn't pay $15.79. This is the MSRP. And then under solid body, I am very interested in these Romeo and Juliet options, which are cool. We're going to go with the antique varnish here. And I got an SB59V. So the reason why I'm really interested in this because I currently have a Gibson Les Paul, which is perfectly fine. It's a great guitar, but I just know the feel of this guitar here with it does have antique varnish finish because this is a T59V, which stands for the varnish. The neck is not too thick or not too thin. It's just a very comfortable neck, which my Gibson Les Paul traditional has a slightly thicker neck. And it's okay, but if I could stand to have a thinner neck, I'll get it. This guitar does come with Lawler custom-made wound Imperial humbuckers and Sprague orange drop capacitors, CTS 500 audio taper pots, Switchcraft audio jack, all that stuff. Action height is 3/32 and 2/32, so that's usually pretty normal for what I like to set up my guitars. Usually about the 17th fret is about 2.5 to 3/32 of an inch, and that's a good height for me. I don't know what Jescar fret wire is, but I'm sure it's some kind of nickel-ish kind of thing. Maybe it's a little harder, slightly harder material than nickel, so hopefully they'll last a little bit longer. Yeah, this thing just feels great. So because I like this Eastman, I'm willing to forego the Gibson and really dive deep into some other Eastman models. And I just love the gold burst here. It's really pretty. They also have an antique red burst, a classic, then a antique black, which is also really nice. Maybe in another 5 years, I can save up and get one of those. And they're not too bad. I mean, this is, I essentially paid about the same price as what my Gibson is for my Gold Burst V here. And I did have the SB59 about a year and a half ago, and it was a great guitar as well. But it did not have the antique varnish finish. It was just more of a nitrocellulose, very glossy kind of look, which is fine. But I just love all the natural relicing on the side of the guitar here and also on the back. You can see all that. Just very natural relic. It's not a cheap guitar that's been relicked and all of them look exactly the same. Like every single one of these guitars are totally different. They're all handmade, hand rubbed, everything by hand. I mean, surely there's a few machine stuff here and there, but nowhere near the amount of machinery that Kiesel has. A lot of the Kiesels, pretty much all the Kiesels are machine CNC'd. That's how they get the precision of all their body cuts and all that stuff. And then they'll go in and they'll sand by hand and stuff like that too. But these Eastman instruments are truly handmade over in Beijing, China. And they are just a really nice guitar. So I got the SB59V coming in and also that arch top, which is very nice. But some other cool options as well is these Romeo and Juliet things. And they were very neat. So this one right here, the Juliet V with the Bigsby, it has a nice angled cut there for your neck joint, so you can get into those upper frets. It's got aged hardware. Obviously, the Bigsby's going on. 3 control switches doing different stuff. Let's see what the controls are. Knobs, Godo knobs, neck pickup. These have bare knuckle old guard humbuckers in them. So that's nice. I'm actually not even sure what pickups come in this. Thin line. Antique varnish. T59V comes with... What are the pickups? Apparently, these are Seymour Duncan Antiquity humbuckers, which I think sound really good. So it'll be interesting to compare the Antiquities to the Lawler pickups that's going to be coming in the 59V. So that will be neat. Lots of other options in here. But yeah, that's essentially what's going on with the Eastman stuff. I do have a Eastman mandolin, which I really like. I have the antique varnish option, and I have an F-style. And it is essentially... which one is it? 815V. It's not that one. 815, 615. I think mine is a 615, possibly. It could be a 515. It's probably a 515. I'm pretty sure it's a 515 because mine was around $1,400 for that mandolin. But if I was gonna get a mandolin, I was gonna not skimp. I wanted to get a really nice one with the F hole and the little F-style body, and just have a really nice looking instrument. So, I'm not saying I don't have other nice looking instruments, but I want to really invest in something that I can keep long term. And most of my Reverend guitars are very utilitarian. They just function perfectly. You know, they get the job done. They're a workhorse kind of thing. But some of these Eastmans are going to be really, it's like this is like my vintagey style kind of guitar. So I don't know why. I'm probably crazy enough as it is. Let me go back here. So I currently have the camera just to the left of my 42-inch TV screen, 43-inch TV screen. So it's kind of angling back this way, so you can see the Doctor McFarland sign right up here. I have my drum set over this way, and so I've been teaching lessons up here, and everything has been working really well. As far as the layout of the room, it's just very comfortable. I'm managing to keep it fairly clean. I have some ukuleles and some cases over here on the couch right now, but I'll get all that cleaned up. And I did have a little snafu this week, to where I ordered a pull-out drawer for the desk. So I have this desk right here, and it can also raise up and down, which is kind of neat. So my goal was to put a pull-out tray so I can set my PreSonus FP16 on it. So I have the Studio Live here in front of me, which is my main recording desk, and I can set all the inputs and outputs for live streaming and for recording, all that stuff. But it's very, very limited on what it can do as far as recording Mixbus 32C, which is my main digital audio workstation. So therefore, I wanted to get a tray to fit my DAW controller on, so I can just slide it underneath the desk when I'm not using it and then pull it back out, when I want to do some automation or do a static mix with faders instead of with a mouse. And long story short, there wasn't enough clearance between the bottom of the desk and the actual tray. So when I set the FP16 on there and then started pushing it in, it hit one of the knobs on the controller, and I was like, "Oh man!" I didn't even. I mean, I was hoping it would have enough clearance, but it just didn't. So yeah, I quickly went back on Amazon, returned that, and then went to the UPS store the next day to actually physically return it. And then I found another option on Amazon, which should be coming this Saturday, and that'll give me enough clearance so I can actually customize the height of that drawer. And if it's down too low to where it's actually hitting my leg or my knee, that should be fine. Because since this is a stand desk, I can raise the desk up just enough to so I can get some clearance, and I can pull the tray out, do my mixing with that, and then push it back in when I'm done. And so I have a nice little workflow here of having my core Studio Live as my recording, have my mouse and keyboard. I can have my like a little MX5 over here for guitar and bass or whatever I'm doing for recording that. And then I can pull out the tray to reveal the DAW controller. So I do have some GFS pickups, which are very interesting. And these are the quick plug options. And what's neat about these is once you get the terminals soldered on the ends, to your volume pod and your tone pod and your switch and all that different stuff. What's cool is, so this side is soldered to your pots. And then on the other side, you actually have a cable you can just pull straight out, just like that. So what that means is you can have your pickup in your guitar, and then you can say, you know what, I kind of want to experiment with a different pickup. Well, if you go to Guitar Fetish and order another pickup that has the quick plug, installation included, all you have to do is just unplug the pickup and the cable's still there and just plug in the new pickup, right? This is a humbucker, so I can just plug that back in. And now put it back in the cavity, screw it down, put the strings back on. And now you have a different pickup that literally took probably just a matter of minutes, however long it takes to take off strings, switch out the pickup, and then put the strings back on, right? So shouldn't take too long. Probably, I would say no more than 10 minutes to do something like that. And so now you got the same guitar, but you got a different pickup in there. And it's just a really good system for people that like to experiment with different options as far as pickups go. And I got these to switch out on my Kiesel Aries neck through. Not saying those pickups aren't good, which they are. But I just want to try something different, just to experiment. And how's that? How's that sound there? So yeah, that'd be kind of cool. And I got some pickups for the Pete Anderson Telly over here, which I'm still undecided about Telecasters. So I do have a Chapman ML3 semi-hollow, which is a very nice guitar. Definitely has a thick neck on it, but it's got two P90 pickups that I can. I got some pretty cool tones last night doing some recording with it, and let me go ahead and switch this out, and you can check it out real fast. So let me put down the Eastman here. Sorry, microphone. All right, so this is the Chapman ML3 Pro Traditional. So therefore it has some F-holes in there. It has a really nice honey burst, honey-ish kind of burst. And it's a really pretty guitar. And I didn't pay that much. I paid around probably $800 for it, used on Reverb. And these are discontinued models. They were a Guitar Center special, probably back in 2017, 2018, something like that. Yeah, it's in tune, so we're good. So I feel like it has a good thinner sound for that Telecaster kind of thing if I need it in the studio. But also, I mean, you kick it over to, let's do this. Swap it over, go to edit, go to channel. And this is a Friedman small box. Yeah. So it's a very light guitar, not heavy at all. I currently have the back off of it, so I'm kind of studying the wiring scheme, and let me see here. Where are these pickups? So the pickups are going in here. There's nothing wrong with these pickups per se, but they are single coil P90s, and I don't like having extra hum in my signal if I can help it. So what's great about Guitar Fetish is their pickups are not very expensive. They're about $30 per pickup. So you can get a whole set of pickups for under $100 technically. And yeah, so let me just box out of the way. Ish. So yeah, they all come with quick plugs here. Yeah, yes sir. So it should just be a pull this out, drop this one in. And then instead of the two screws being more in the middle, there's screw holes on the outside that the screws go down into. Then they dig into the wood, or they make contact with the wood, and that's how the pickup stays in. But you can see here that you just pull the cable right out, and it just makes it easy to work on and install the pickups when you want to. So here very, very soon, I'll have a little marathon video making session in the garage, or I could just set up a table up here possibly, which I might do that. I'll probably steal the coffee table from the living room, put it up here, and just set up some guitars, start taking them apart, and all that fun stuff. So I do have a new switch for the Gil Paris signature model. I'm thinking about taking out the Fishman Fluence pickups and putting in my DiMarzio pickups. Then I also have a three-way switch for the Pete Anderson. But this is what I have to decide. Do I want a collection of guitars that gives me some traditional options, but also some non-traditional options I mean, so this is, for example, this is definitely this is a ML3 Pro traditional model, but this is not your typical Telecaster, right? So this is kind of out there, more modernized version of a Tele, which is kind of cool. But then the Gil Paris and the Pete Anderson Reverends give me that true, S style and T style kind of look. Uh, Now, when I'm recording, looks don't matter because as long as it sounds good and the way I need, then nobody is going to see my guitar when I'm recording. I mean, they can't see the guitar while they listen to a song. It just doesn't make sense. Then I have other reverends that are a little bit more out there as far as body style goes. Especially like the new Air Sonic I got about a month ago. And I got the HPP, which I've had for a while. But at some point, these tones start becoming redundant. I can get very similar sounds between multiple different guitars, which is why I don't have pedals anymore. It's very easy to buy tons and tons of overdrives and whatever, just to realize that if you just tweak the knobs a little bit, you can pretty much get them all to sound exactly the same, or at least close enough for recording and playing live. Because the nuances of each drive pedal, it's just not that different, in my opinion. So, do I do feel like I want to keep this guitar because it has stainless steel frets. It has a slightly different look to it than your normal Tele. And it's not like I play wedding gigs where I need like a traditional looking guitar, right? Nor am I I don't play Telecaster guitar or country guitar down on Broadway here in Nashville. I'm not a country player, so I don't need to have a certain look. I don't need the cowboy hat and the boots and the western shirt and the jeans and the Wrangler jeans and a Telecaster. I'm not here needing to look a certain part. I'm just a guy in a home studio in a detached garage that records demos and makes YouTube videos. And I mean, I do reviews on guitar stuff, but I feel like it's not necessary to have a certain look. Like if you're a rock guy, you just feel like you have to have a Gibson Les Paul, right? Like everyone needs a Les Paul, right? I mean, come on. If you're a guitar player, you have to have a Les Paul. Well, I mean, you don't have to. There's tons of other alternatives out there, kind of thing. Which is why I'm gearing more towards the Eastman guitars than your authentic traditional Gibson type offerings. So that's gonna be my decision. I need to go through all my guitars, make videos on all of them, and then make a really hard decision on, do I want to sell off some of the Reverends and only keep maybe like two? Probably just have two Reverends. I'll have 2 or 3 Eastmans in my arsenal. I'll have a Chapman. I currently have 2 Chapmans, but the other one just kind of stays in the case. I never play it. So that one kind of needs to be sold right away, just because I just don't ever use it, even though it's a great guitar. Excuse me. So I could be very soon. I could be selling off probably 3, 4, 5. I'm thinking 6. Probably be selling off about 6 guitars pretty soon. Even though I am adding 2 guitars back into the arsenal. So I need to sell off some guitars to free up cash in order to pay for these new guitars. And then also I'm going to do a series on the Axe-Fx 3. And then when I'm done with that, I don't have to have an Axe FX. A fractal's great, but I don't have to have it. If I had the option to swap it out for an FM3 Turbo, I would like to have something like that just because it is small. I can get all the same amps, all the same effects. So I can keep making videos with the FM3 and not have all my money tied up in a rack unit that I can't move around. It's not very mobile. Dan's in the house. This is a musician's prejudice. The audience, that's a very common argument. The audience do not care, but we look at album covers and we look at music videos, and the reason why people love Les Pauls is you have Slash from Guns N' Roses, you have Eric Clapton, you have just Foo Fighters. The guy from Foo Fighters plays Les Paul. I mean, there's just literally millions of players that play Les Pauls, and you get that in your mind that if you're in a band, you do need to have a certain look about you. You can't just walk off on the street with your jeans and your shirt, just like a normal t-shirt, and like play some rock and roll. I mean, that is a look that some bands have, but if you think throughout the years of the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, bands have a certain look and they're known by the instruments that they play. Mark Tremonti plays mostly PRS and Mesa Boogie style guitars. Nickelback plays PRS and Gibson Les Pauls. They also use Mesa Boogie amps, Fender Twins for their clean stuff. It's just a look thing. I mean, people would not care about Fender Stratocasters if it wasn't for Jimi Hendrix playing one at Woodstock, and it wasn't for Eric Clapton playing his Strat all those years. Same goes for Telecasters. I mean, you can't divorce, for the sake of a better term, you can't divorce the Telecaster with country music. You just can't. I mean, they just go together like peanut butter and jelly on wheat bread, right, or white bread, whatever you prefer. So it's definitely a certain look. But if you're a hobbyist and you don't play out at all, you don't play in a band, maybe you jam with some friends every once in a while, but you just don't, you have a normal job, you don't go out and actively pursue music as a full-time career, you're more prone to be more of the collector's mind. Maybe you just buy guitars and amps and pedals just because you like having them, but it's not a status symbol to you. Like you don't feel like you have to have a Gibson Les Paul just because Slash from Guns N' Roses played a Gibson Les Paul. Even though you might stand in front of your mirror in your bathroom, like I do, and I'll play in front of my bathroom mirror, and I'll just look at my guitar going, wow, that thing is gorgeous. Is it just me? Does anybody else do that? I don't know. Let me go to my website here, drmcfarlandstudios.com. See how long I've been going. Almost for an hour here, so not too bad. I have about one more week to go to finish out the backing tracks for July. I actually need to go to Podia to sign into my back end here. And so if you want to help support what I do here online and on YouTube and the website, and you want 52 backing tracks for $20, that's a really good way to help support what I do. And if you just enjoy the conversations and the knowledge I bring in my videos, then I highly suggest you check out Doctor's Prescribed Backing Tracks. And I would appreciate that. Any help, monetary help goes a long way. Yeah, I got 3 backing tracks so far for July. and I'm pretty sure there's only 4 Fridays in this month. Because I'm trying to release one every Friday, but I kind of got caught up. I got caught up. I can't talk. A few weeks ago, so I just kind of cranked out 3 backing tracks just in a matter of days. So I filled up most of July, but I still have one more to release on the 28th, which will be next Friday, I think. Not this coming Friday, but the next Friday. So yeah. So let's check out some options here. What do I have? There's a dramatic. Let's try this one. This is a cool one. It's very cool. It's only 3 chords, or it's 4 chords essentially. It's just like a 2-bar vamp. What have we got? There we go. Andrew Collins playing the Strat. What key am I in? A. Yeah. And then there's the main melody back in. Nice. Let's try this one back in April. This is the Floydish groove in E minor. It's really just 2 chords. Yeah. Yeah. It does take a little bit to get used to. Accessing the tuners from the other side instead of on top. Yeah, it is what it is. But it's nice overall, I think. Let's add some ambience here. Ambiance. All right, let me switch guitars one more time here. Keep hitting that microphone. Sorry, microphone. I didn't mean it, I swear. Where are we at? Where are we at here? Where are we at? Yep, not that one. Not that one. It's gotta be in here. This one. This one right here. Yeah. Ay, ay, ay. Let me turn the music down here. So I feel like if I sold the Reverend Gil Paris, which is my Stratty, my S-style guitar. This essentially is an S-style guitar. It just has two humbuckers with a middle pickup. And I can pull this out to get some single coil options. So let's go back to... let's edit this. Let's go back a channel. So here's a clean... And then the neck on the single coil. Stand up here. Alright, so there's the single coils. This is with the humbucker. And then on the bridge humbucker. Okay, this is the second position, so it's humbucker. It's actually probably inner coil in the middle. Okay, let's go to a different groove here. Let's try a little super funk in G minor. Whatever this is. Whatever this is. Yes. Here we go. Get my pick. I really like this pick right here. What key am I in? This is just the middle pickup. All right, fourth position. Okay, and then back to the neck, humbucker. Single. Yes. Yes, there you go. So I feel like if I really had to do it, I could just keep this Kiesel, because I do love the neck through design. And it's just, you know, just super gorgeous, lovely guitar. Really, really nice. I mean, there's some Schecters out there that look nice, that have a good neck through. There's some Chapmans that has a good neck through. But this one, I really like the walnut wings with the maple neck through, or the 5-ply neck through. This is really nice. So this is a keeper for sure. Not getting rid of this one. But for this guitar, I have a Little Killer, which is a dual blade humbucker. I'm going to put it in the middle position here. And then I also have the Vintage Extra Hot VEH, which is really an Eddie Van Halen super hot bridge pickup. So I'm going to experiment with this one and throw it in the bridge position here. And then this one, the Nashville Hot Overwound Retrotron. This is going to go on the neck. So between a super hot bridge, a humbucker in the middle position, which is going to give me more balanced tone when I go to the 2 and 4 positions, hopefully, which it should. And then a more of a retro Nashville type telly, not telly, but just like more of a neck pickup. This will take the looks of this guitar and just kind of alter the tonal options I can get overall with this thing. And just have it be a really good workhorse for the studio. It does have stainless steel fret, so I can play all my cowboy chords just for ages and not have to worry about the frets wearing out over time. So this can be also my main guitar for a lot of practicing and whatnot. And then I can play my Eastmans when I want to have like a more vintagey look on stage or in a video or in a live stream, and not have to worry about the frets wearing out as much, just because I'm not playing them as often to wear out the frets, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of thinking through my options here here on the live stream. So maybe somebody will talk me out of it. But Dan says it's 23:50 here, and I'll work tomorrow. Good night, y'all. Nice guitar, Doc. Thanks for the live. So yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock here. I'm not sure exactly where you're at, Dan, but you're somewhere out there, and it's close to midnight for you. So yeah, I understand. So if I sold the P. Anderson, which the Chapman supplies my telly look, then if I sold the Gilparis, which the Aries neck through provides all my Stratty type tones, I can still keep my HPP, which is also a humbucker P90 P90. That also has some nice Strat tones with it. So let me grab that guitar real fast. Let me grab that guitar. Try not to hit a microphone like I did last time. Woo, man. Let's see here. Now this thing is cool. This is a cool guitar. And you would think I'd be more selective about different stuff. And I did not realize that my monitor was turned up. So I'm sure the audio sounded glorious the whole live stream, which I'm sorry about that. I should have known. Let me go back to the clean channel here. And go and turn off all this extra stuff. Which I need to have, I need to go ahead and dial in some scenes. And so I don't have to keep turning things on and off. Southern Illinois, Randy Upchurch. I just arrived. Well, good. I'm going to go a whole nother 3 hours just for you. What do you want to talk about, Randy? Now, I did a video a few months ago comparing the pickups in the HPP versus my Gilparis, and using the bass contour knob to see if I can get a similar glassy single coily kind of tone out of these P90s and the humbucker. And though the tones were not that close, they were good enough to pass as a Strat kind of sound on a recording, and that's really all I care about. It doesn't really matter. Here's the neck pickup with just the P90 here. Sounds nice. And then I go over to the position 4. And then middle position, which is just the middle P90. And then position 2, which is P90 and humbucker. So that's the kind of sound I'm going more for on the Kiesel Aries neck through. So that's more balanced when I go between the different positions. Then here's the position 1 with just the humbucker. So that's all well and good. And then I can turn the bass contour knob down, which is this little knob right here. I can turn that down and it acts as a high pass filter, which is filtering out the low end and just kind of thinning out the sound. So isn't that cool? All the way back up. So there's the full humbucker in all its glory, and then all the way down. So it's still humbucking. It's still cutting out all the 60 cycle hum, but I'm thinning it out, which therefore makes it sound more like a single coil than a humbucker. So very cool. And then going into my second position. I just changed keys, sorry. Middle position with the bass contour all the way down. And then position 4, same key. Whoops. And then position 5, neck. Drop 2 voicing of G minor, and then C7 inversion. And then this one. There you go. Learn your triads and drop 2 voicings, folks. Very helpful on the guitar. Yeah, so there you go. This is a great guitar, very comfortable. Has a good bevel here for your arm, a good belly cut right here. So I really feel like that between this guitar, the Kiesel, my Chapman, that provides some good Tele and Stratocaster type tones. And then the Eastmans are just great all around. 335 Les Paul and your arch top, big body, hollow body type looking guitars. So yeah, if I had those 6, I feel like I could get away with murder and not go to jail. So that was a dumb analogy. I'm sorry. Yeah, I feel like I can cover lots of ground with those 6 guitars, and so I can get the look that I want, get the sounds that I want, and just have those as my core arsenal of key tones I can always call on for recording, for playing at church, for doing video work, stuff like that. So, well, Randy, what do you want me to play? I got some more backing tracks here if you want. Just as another reminder, if you want to help support what I do here on YouTube or just online in general, excuse me, 52 backing tracks this year for $20. That's cheaper than Netflix for a year, right? Way cheaper. So lots of fun little grooves here. I'm not sure what this one is. Let's see what the Easy Breeze in G major is. Something. Oh, wait, hold on. Easy Breeze in G major. There we go. We got C, G, D, and E minor. Okay. I'm not sure why I'm tiling these a certain way. I think I'm seeing a mistake in here. Because it goes to G, then it goes to D twice. Yeah, I need to update that one. Yeah. Still a little position 2. Whoops, sorry. Yeah. Nice. So it's just fun to kind of pick a different groove and, you know, just work on scales, work on your chords, work on little dyad things. You know, maybe work on those all over the neck. Yeah, here's a pretty piano groove. Real fast. This will be the last one. This will be the last one here. Key of C. Thinking of a melody here. Sorry. There you go. So that's something I made using the new Easy Keys 2. It has all kinds of cool little piano patterns and stuff. And threw in some bass, doing some guitar. Actually, no guitar. There's some strings in there, some Arturia strings, and just a basic drum groove that was bundled with Mixbus 32C. Randy, I do not play in different tunings usually, but I do have another Kiesel build that is probably going to be available in August-ish time frame, and that's going to be a 7-string. So what I plan on doing with that is doing some low tuning stuff, maybe do more of like a baritone-ish kind of tuning. And that'll be my low baritone, grungy metal, like all the low end kind of guitar range stuff. But I've been reading here lately that you can actually take the G string, tune it down to an F sharp, and what that does is it gives you the same relationship as your E standard tuning, but you're now in B. So you got your B to E, which is a fourth, your E to A, which is a fourth, A to D, which is a fourth, and then D to F sharp, which is your third, which is the same relationship as if you had your G to B right here on the E tuning. And then you got the F sharp to B, which is your which is your fourth. But then you have to deal with the extra E string on top. Which you could tune that up to a F sharp to put it in the key of B, or you could tune it down to a D sharp, which is also a third in the key of D or in the key of B. So there's definitely a time here very soon. I'm going to be experimenting with some low tunings, some B tunings, which is going to be cool. And if I want to, if I technically wanted to have the B tuning, but then put a capo on the 5th fret, which will now put me back in the key of E, I just basically put a capo there, and then I just treat that instrument like I'm playing in normal guitar tuning. Though I will have either an extra. I can think of it like I have an extra thinner string or I have an extra low string. It just kind of depends on what I want to experiment with. So it's going to be interesting to figure that out. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to figure that one out. I've never owned a 7-string before. But I think there's going to be a lot of cool, not just tonal possibilities, because they're just going to come with normal humbuckers, but the range of different octaves I can get with that instrument. Because I can record a bass guitar, and that's going to be the bass, but sometimes you want that not quite a bass, but not quite a guitar kind of range. And that's what a baritone can get you. And I feel like the 7-string will give me a faux baritone kind of sound. So it's gonna be cool. It's also gonna be very metal looking. I don't have a picture anywhere on my hard drive. I don't think I have a picture. But hopefully when it's done, I'll be featured in the Guitar of the Day, whatever that is, and so you'll see some cool pictures there online. And that'll be the 7th guitar that I'll have. So I feel like if you can have. I mean, to some people, more than 2 or 3 electric guitars is just way too many. But if you like different shapes and you like different sounds, then having different options as far as your S style guitars, your T style guitars, your humbucker style guitars. You can get similar tones with each one of those, but it's just the different shape of the guitar, the color, the overall look, how it makes you feel. Does it look good with a black suit versus a Pelham blue suit? Stuff like that. So this is definitely my Pelham blue ish kind of color, which I really like. It's really neat. Francis is in the house, so hello, Francis. Randy has a 3/4 size Strat that I play in D. Sounds rather mean. Now, Billy Corgan has a signature Reverend guitar that is a shorter scale, and he plays it in G. And I think it's it's a neat idea. Let me look that up real fast. Go to reverendguitars.com. You can check out what this is here. Reeves Gabrels uses a Space Hawk in The Cure. There's a Descent W, which is a baritone guitar. But anyway, let's go to artists here. And here's Billy Corgan. So here's the signature and a Z1. I'm not sure what that is. Looks like he has 3 different ones here. Let's check this out. So it's a third signature collaboration. It's inspired by the heavier songs of Smashing Pumpkins catalog. An altar body creates a thick tone, while deep cutaways provide easy access to the higher frets. That is certainly true. Railhammer Z1 pickups have a fat mid-range and a smooth top end with custom artwork etched in the covers. This is a 25.5-inch scale versus 25 3/4. I think that's usually what it is. Let me go back one. Let me look at this one. One of these is a short scale, I feel like. This is a cool guitar. This is also 25.5-inch scale. Roasted maple neck. I feel like one of these guitars is like shorter or something. He plays it in G almost. 15, 17, 19, 21, 22. It's got 22 frets. Okay, so a 19th century instrument tuned to a minor third. Then we make an electric terz. A terz is a 19th century instrument tuned to a minor third, G, C, F, A sharp, D, G. That's interesting. The result, well, technically that's a B flat. So the result was a Reverend Billy Corgan signature terz, a punchy, shimmering guitar that is rich in overtones, perfect for adding your color accents, or driving rhythm parts that spice up a tune. So this is 21.5, which is, okay, so the other one was 24.5. This is 21.5. Short scale neck allows this guitar to be tuned high while keeping the tension regular. The body, the same as the standard Kelly Corgan, has been loaded with single Railhammer Billy Corgan pickups and a unique inspiring stage. Yeah. So that is the short scale guitar. That's neat. I'm not sure how much they are, but that is really neat. Oh, fellas. Yeah, so that's what my brain is up to at the moment. I'm swimming in guitars over here, but I really feel like I need to sell off probably like 4 or 5 guitars right now. Definitely keeping this. Probably going to keep the Air Sonic. I'm not quite sure. This might be my only Reverend that I keep. Maybe. I don't know. I do like the Sensei. That's a cool guitar. That's more of a Les Paul style guitar as well. But I can also use the bass contour to get those humbuckers down to a very thin sound. So I can get some faux telly type tones, which I need to do a video on that. I need to take my Pete Anderson telly and compare it to the Chapman, and also compare it to the Sensei with the bass contour down and see what the tones sound like. Because that'll let me know real fast, especially in a recording, if I can comp some classic telly tones from a non-traditional T-style guitar. Because like I said before, it doesn't matter what I look like here in the studio, as long as the sounds that are being recorded is what the song calls for. That's all that matters. I'm not trying to impress anybody by looking a certain way or dressing a certain way or having my hair a certain way, which I have very little hair as it is right now anyway. So all right, that's it. That's all I'm going to do for tonight. I did get these attack picks last year sometime. Actually, probably a few years ago. I saw these guys at, I feel like I saw them at NAMM 2021. And then shortly after, I saw an ad on Facebook or Instagram or something for these picks. But I like them because they have the same point on all three sides, and then they have a big hole in the middle, like so. And then they have these little grooves, so they're very easy to grab, and they don't slip out of your hands. And if they end up turning, I can just easily switch to a different point on the pick. And I have a big stubby pick from Dunlop. It's a Dunlop purple pick. They're called the Big Stubbies. So this is very reminiscent of my Big Stubby that I took a screwdriver and I poked a hole through it. Then I just started chewing on it just over and over and over for like a week or so, and to get all the little rivets and all the bumps in there, so it was easier to hold on to. I feel like this is going to be a better option for that. So I might do a video very soon on different picks. I've been using this one as well. But you can see that the edges of this has already started to wear off. But these picks are called Bog Street picks, and they're made in the USA. And they have a cool shape to them, and they have a hole in the middle, so it's easier to hold on to. But the end of this one's wearing off. Then here's another one that has a slightly different shape. It's bigger, so you can choose to have a very hard edge with these two tips, or you can have a rounder edge with also thinner kind of look to them. So I'll be sure to do a video on these picks. Cool little review. I do end up finding some cool options on Instagram and Facebook, just, flipping through, and I can see different ads, and I'll just see different things come up that catch my eye. Yeah, I like that one, but it's a little thin, and this one's thicker. So not tomorrow night, but probably Thursday night, I'll be doing my monthly Headrush tone sculpting live stream. So stay tuned for that. I'll be building some rigs on the Headrush MX5, which is also compatible with the gig board and pedal board. And then I do have some plans to do some Headrush Prime content here probably in the next month or so. So I'll be getting my hands on one of those and seeing what it's all about. It's gonna be really fun. So be sure to subscribe down below. I've just now passed the 12,700 subscriber mark, which I was hoping to be farther along by this point in the year, because my goal was to reach around 20,000 this year, or reach up to 20,000 this year, but that has not happened yet. So I probably need to release some more videos and get the algorithm going so people can find my videos more. I used to be very, very active for all the Headrush content that I've done over the years. But since I've been in a new house and have a new baby and have a great full-time job that takes up a lot of my time, and also doing demo work here in the studio and teaching lessons on Mondays and Thursdays, there's only so many hours in the day, and but I could probably find ways to spend my time more wisely instead of just jamming for hours on end on the guitar, but not making any videos out of it. So I'll work on that. It's a personal issue. It's not you, it's me. And yeah, so lots of pickups around here, lots of guitars to review. I have a Supro amp over here that I've had for a few years. I've just not done any videos with. I have a Boss Katana that I got from Sweetwater about a year and a half ago that I'm supposed to be doing review videos on. I just hadn't got around to it. And yeah, life is getting in the way, but I'll figure out some time to get in front of a camera, make some proper videos instead of just doing a live stream, and then doing stuff like that. So I like the way you look, sir. You look exactly like you. Yeah, well, that's what happens sometimes. I was just born this way, you know? Cha-cha-cha. All right, I'm going to play us out here. Let's play us out with a little shearing groove in C sharp major. This is based on one of his songs off of his Subtract album. I just made a groove out of it. And let's see what we got. See what we got here. So be sure to check the description down below for any affiliate links to Amazon and Sweetwater. Check out the website to get Headrush content and backing tracks and a slew of other stuff. So here we go. Yeah. This is based on Life Goes On. Ah. If you want to work on your rhythm stuff, just practice playing chords. B section. Make sure you transition between chords very smoothly. Learning different shapes. Edit channel. There we go, folks. Shearing groove. Shearing groove. Very cool. All right, guys. I appreciate everyone watching and hanging out tonight. Been going for almost about 2 hours now. Really, I just treat the live streams as a way to chat, jam for a little bit on some guitar, because I would be doing that anyways. I don't chat with myself usually, but I do play guitar. Once I start playing, it's not uncommon for me to just play for like 3 or 4 hours straight sometimes. Sometimes go to bed at 2 or 3 in the morning, get up the next day around 7 and go to work and live on very little sleep. So I appreciate you watching, chatting there in the comment section, watching the videos, liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, going to the website, supporting me in whichever way you deem worthy. And just thank you all for everything, all the support you've done, you've given me over the years. So I am Dr. McFarland, I heal people with sweet rock and roll, and I get surgical with audio. So slice and dice that audio, man. That's what I do. That is what I do. Good night, Francis. Hope your week is going well. And y'all stay safe and be blessed. We'll talk to you later.